Hey everyone, we want to start with a serious topic today. We've been talking about this a lot over the last couple of weeks on our Twitter, and originally we were going to keep it there and out of our videos. We don't want to center ourselves in this discussion or get views from a hashtagged statement, but we felt like we needed to say something to those of you who watch us.
Black Lives Matter. Black trans lives matter. These are not controversial statements, and they're the bare minimum. The very first step on the path to creating a society that lives up to the ideals that we pretend we value. If you feel like we should keep this separate from our content, our main series is Stardew Valley, published by Chucklefish, and we encourage you to go and check out their stance.
More specifically, we want to say that if you, watching now, are a person who has hatred, bigotry, or violence inflicted upon you due to core aspects of your humanity, if you are forced to be an activist for your own dignity and survival, your life matters. You are valuable, you are loved, you are vital, and you are beautiful.
We can't imagine the trauma you face. We both hope that you're being kind to yourself and that you have people in your life who remind you that you're more than enough and the world is enriched by having you in it.
In our personal lives, we are making ongoing efforts to educate ourselves and contribute to anti-racism work. We don't know what that looks like for Maple Potato. Not yet. For now, if you're a person with privilege and means and want to learn how to help, we're putting some educational and donation links in the description below, as well as some content that we like by Black creators. Remember that Black voices also exist when hashtags aren't trending. This is an opportunity to learn and also to enrich your life with perspectives and art that you may not be familiar with.
And finally, it will always be okay to need a break. It will always be okay to just need someone to talk to and be heard. And if you need that today, feel free to email us because we don't share anything we receive without explicit prior permission.
The comments on this video will be turned off. We are not interested in debating human rights, so if you're going to leave over this, no need to announce your departure. It'll be deleted anyway.
Maple potato.
Hey everyone, welcome back.
Hello.
I'm Maple,
And I'm Potato.
and we're playing Stardew Valley together.
Hey.
Because we love it and we love each other.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, I do though. It's true. Oh, my chickens. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I keep on watering
good
them.
morning. You're watering the chickens.
Good morning. Every morning I say good morning to them and then I say good morning to them and then I gently water them. I bet chickens would actually be into that.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm
sure they like to flap around in the water.
I feel like all the cafeteria ladies I've ever encountered have been fairly nice.
All the ones in Canada and America. Well, I didn't go to school in America, just Canada. All the ones in Canada were lovely. It's something about
British.
Anyone in England who serves you food is gonna be a dick to you. It is.
Yeah, that's
rule.
what your mom was. Well, your mom has horror stories growing up in England about. Did she tell you the curdled milk story?
Oh yeah. Was that mom or was that her boyfriend who told that story?
I think both of them had the similar experience.
Yeah, where they
leave the milk out in the
in the sun,
and they just leave it there, and so
you were
expected to drink curdled milk.
They were expected to drink it, but I mean, you have to realize that this was back when teachers could still hit kids and stuff. So they have some messed up stories.
Yeah, I'm sure. And they turned out fine.
God.
Ugh. Tell me more about England though, because you weren't there for very long. Obviously, I've heard a lot of the stories, but I want to know more.
So yeah, I was in England for the first 10 years of my life. Then we spent 2 years in Canada, and then I was in England, I think, for another 2. What age do you start high school? Is it 14?
15, 14, 14.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I was in England. I went back to England for another 2 years because we went to Canada on a temporary visa.
Yeah.
And so it took us 2 years. I think it was 2 years to get back permanently because we were like, England sucks. We're leaving.
I mean, fair. Honestly, I feel like a lot of Americans have this really romanticized view of England where it's about
especially
the
like,
queen,
yeah,
and like look,
especially living in London. London's
yeah,
where we lived. London's awful. It sucks.
yeah,
Um,
and all we think about is like Big Ben and like
yeah.
that
Now, I
that
mean,
one model that has the big old gap tooth. That's what we think about. Anyway,
um, more the most of the reason why it wasn't great is because I was raised by a single mom. We weren't necessarily poor, but we struggled a little bit to get by.
oh yeah, of
Um,
course,
we had a house, because she got the house in the divorce, and so, um, if not for that, we would have probably been struggling a lot more.
yeah,
Um, so but so we lived in a not super nice neighborhood. It wasn't like we didn't necessarily live in like a bad neighborhood. I mean, it was, everything was nice enough, but
it wasn't like the upper crust
yeah.
neighborhood. Like
Yeah, it wasn't
it
even
wasn't like the
it was
Mary
a
Poppins Cherry Tree Lane
yeah,
sort
it
of
was like a
situation,
below middle class neighborhood kind of
right?
thing, because there really isn't much of a middle class in London. You can either afford to live comfortably, or you kind of
Well,
can't.
obviously you're either the queen or you're no one. Is how I
Oh
imagine it
no,
is.
I'm starting to feel exhausted. I think I'm out of food.
Oh no, you're gonna have to take a nap,
I'm gonna have to take a little nappy
a
nap.
little nap.
I wonder how many floors down did I? Oh, there we go. Phew,
Oh, good.
cool.
That's a perfect spot.
A slingshot. Okay,
Nice.
I will get rid of the bug meats. But yeah, this story actually goes back to um vivid childhood memories that we were talking about.
I'm 10. I'm 10 right now.
um, one of the things that I do like really really miss about where I lived is the um like the food and the culture, because England doesn't really have a culture, but um we lived in an area of London where I don't have room for all this stuff. Okay, the iron I can come back and pick later. Okay. We lived in an area of London where a large group of immigrants from Greece and Turkey and Cyprus ended up.
Mm-hmm.
And all those immigrants well, not all of them, but a large number of them started little businesses, and they were usually food related.
Mm. I bet that was super tasty.
And so the two most vivid memories I have of my childhood are, I'm going to call it a dichotomy of smells. Because in the neighborhood, everything's really packed in really tight. The houses are small and they were made 100 years ago, and they're kind of crappy.
Mm.
Um, and there are alleyways between the streets, and there's not a whole lot of room um for like garbage.
Yeah.
And we were not in an area that received very good municipal services, and so garbage from like the restaurants up the street and from the homes and stuff would get put into like the trash tips and stuff, and just kind of like shoved in an alleyway until someone from the city could be bothered to come around and pick it up.
Man, don't you just appreciate regular garbage schedule?
Right? So walking to Main Street, the smell was terrible because there was just like this garbage that had been left there and no one's come to pick it up.
Mm.
They wouldn't come and get it until it was like overflowing.
Oh, jeez.
But then when I got onto the high street, onto the main street where all the businesses were, just the smells were amazing.
Dichotomy
Because
of smells.
yeah, because you walk onto the main street and there's like a Turkish bakery next to a Greek bakery, and there was a little Italian restaurant actually there that was really really nice.
Mm.
Um and all these like restaurants and little like fast food places, and just all this wonderful food.
Yeah.
And so the actual main street smelled delightful whenever you walked into it. The smells of like you'd get the savory smells of the gyro and the shawarma and uh like pastries filled with spinach and feta cheese, and then you'd get the sweet smells of like um the baklava. Oh,
Oh
there was so
man.
much baklava. There was so many different types of baklava because like there's a lot of different interpretations of the same food in that area of the world generally.
Right.
And there was our favorite kebab shop, where we go and get, is it called a doner kebab? I think it was a gyro kebab, but I think we called it a doner kebab there.
Mm.
And it was gyro, which is if you don't know what that is, it's you take ground meat of, I think it was, I
Is
think
it
it's
lamb?
beef and lamb, I
Mm.
think. And
Good morning. Good
you
morning.
grind, and it's ground, so you mix it with a bunch of really nice spices. Hey, sorry everyone, we had to abandon that day's progress because the tater tot woke up and we had to take care of the little thing.
Can I just say, like, I know that there are gonna be nights when she's gonna wake up and it's gonna be awful and that sort of thing. But like, man, like I still like whenever she wakes up, I still get kind of giddy
Aww.
because I get to see her. You know what I
That's
mean? Because I
cute.
get to like, I'm like, oh, she's awake. Hello. And
hi.
I try to just like, I feed her and stuff and like comfort her. And I try to make sure we're not here to play or anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? But and like she sleeps in our room still, in like it's called a pack and play. It's like it's a baby bed, like a temporary crib. And but I still get giddy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were talking about what the beef is made out of.
Yeah, so it's the beef and the lamb, and you add all the spices to it, and then you roast it all together. And so if you've ever seen the places where like they have just this big massive hunk of meat on a on a giant spinning skewer, and it's slowly rotating, and they like take a knife and shave little strips off of it. That's gyro. GYROS if you want to Google it, and it's freaking delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have enough copper. We just need a little bit more stone, I think, for the
silo.
Yeah.
Do we have gold? I thought it called for gold.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
And so there was a little kebab place. I forget what the difference is because there's a difference between a kebab and a kebab. I don't remember what it is. I think kebab is just like the grilled skewers, and kebab is like what we had, which was what we would get, which is like the gyro and vegetables and tzatziki sauce all wrapped up in a pita.
Oh,
pita
tzatziki
bread.
sauce.
Loves tzatziki sauce. So good.
So good.
And so the bakeries were relatively economical for us. Like we could usually afford to get something from the bakery, and they'd have cool little like pizza thingies and spanakoppitas, which is like phyllo pastry and spinach and cheese. So good. And of course the baklava. So we would usually whenever we had like a little bit of extra money, we could get a treat from the bakery. And then when we would like splurge, we would go get a gyro from the shop that did those. Yeah, we call them kebabs. Those gyro pitas and the bakeries and the smells are one of the most vivid, pleasant memories I have. And then walking through dank, nasty alleyways smelling of garbage for school was one of the most unpleasant sensory memories I have.
I that's a beautiful memory.
Yeah.
Um, that's that makes me feel kind of silly when I'm like, my mom used to make canned chili and it would come in a packet with cornbread. No, that's great. Oh man,
Yeah, there was a lot.
I love having different like different cultures in the area that you can, that quite literally bring things to the table.
I moved from London to like a very white Canadian town. And I definitely missed the diversity of just people, of diversity of people, diversity of opinions, diversity of food.
One thing we do have going for our neighborhood though is we have a family who goes door to door.
I love the tamale family.
I know. They're so sweet. And they stop by probably once every like 2 weeks.
It's sometimes they do it more often, sometimes it's once a week, sometimes it's once every couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's one thing I love about living here is South American food. I mean, in England, I don't think I encountered it at all. And in Canada there was like a little bit, but in my town, really, there wasn't a whole lot of South American food.
Right.
But here,
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and it's awesome.
So tasty.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yes.
So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. And for that family, whenever they stop by,
they're so
we
nice.
load our freezer with tamales. Just like a lot of it's like because we have that connection, we're like, yes, like please, all of it. So we eat off
Bats
tamales.
are expensive.
Oh no.
Little mouse.
I hate that mouse.
Yeah, there was a lot to dislike about growing up in London. A lot of it had to do with our economic position. I'm sure it would have been nicer if we could afford things. And we got by, there was my mom did a very good job at making sure that like I rarely wanted for things. A sad story. Well, it's not super. It's kind of sad. A story that I remember that I found out later.
Oh no, I know exactly
My
what
mom
story.
has always loved lettuce sandwiches. Just lettuce, mayo,
Ew.
and pepper. Why am I going to the beach? I don't have inventory space.
Because I'm at the beach.
Oh, I naturally gravitate to you.
Oh my god.
And I could never work out why.
I gravitate towards Elliot.
Oh.
Oh.
I can never work out why she liked these lettuce sandwiches so much. Because, it's just lettuce and bread. She would pack lettuce sandwiches for her lunches so that she could pack meat sandwiches for my lunches when I would go to school. And so she would buy the sandwich meat and I would get all of it. And she would pack herself lettuce sandwiches. And it's this weird thing where she's grown to like them. I think this it's kind of like how a lot if a lot of people who had to eat Spam when they were growing up now really like it.
Right.
It was like the
concept is gross. But if you had to do it, I'm sure.
Yeah, you kind of go to like it because it's just what you had to do, what you had to eat, so you find joy in it any way you can, right?
Right.
Spice berry. Ooh, you know what I'm gonna do with these spice berries is I'm gonna put one in here. Boop. There we go. We're making stuff.
Yay!
And so these days she really likes them, but she obviously didn't really tell me about that. Do I need that trout for the bundles? I've been ignoring the bundles. Oh well. And when I found out about that, I was, it made me pretty sad because it's like, dang, she made a lot of sacrifices for me. And so, when I talk about how much it sucked in England, I sometimes feel bad because it's like, well, yeah, but my mom worked really freaking hard to make sure it didn't suck for me as much as it sucked for her.
Well, I think that's like the important thing to remember is like England would have really sucked with someone who wasn't as equipped as your mom, you know?
Yeah, yeah, she was fantastic.
Yeah, she's
Oh
incredible.
gosh. Um, but it's like she hated it too. And our family was awful. Like one of the main reasons we left is so that we could stick our middle fingers up at the family and just be like, "Screw you guys.
Yeah.
We're crossing an ocean to get away from you." Like,
Oh,
um,
see, that was one thing I had to get used to with Maple was when we met and when we got serious, he literally was like, "I have my mom. That's it. Like, I have no other family that I wish to see or talk to." And so
hmm
now, yeah, that was interesting for me.
yeah, because you've got a pretty large family. Oh gosh,
Hmm.
this stupid fish again. I hate you, fish. I hate you.
I hate
I'm
you,
so bad at this.
fish.
I'm so bad at the fish
Oh,
game.
fish, I hate you.
Stupid fish game.
Oh, Lord.
Let me see if we have enough rocks. Hi.
So a few of my friends though, when they discovered I was dating someone from England, like I said, and I think maybe this episode or the previous, like I feel like Americans just, and like people, I feel like there's this weird
Ooh.
romanticized version of England in our heads where it's like, oh well, you know, it's Big Ben and the Queen and like the Parent Trap, like you know when she goes to London and stuff, it's that, and you know, and then I hear stories from and it's like, oh no, okay, it's awful,
Yeah.
and you know, I had this one friend in particular who just she you wanted to go to London so bad and she was so into it and she was like, and then we would do this, you know, and like talking about one of her love interests at the time. She was like, we'd go here and we'd eat at this little cafe and then we would get, I'm like, oh, and you know, I was telling her, I'm like, yeah, like Maple really hated it. And like you were at a point where you were like, I don't really want to visit it.
No,
You're like,
I
I'll
don't
take
want to
you
go
if you
back really.
force me to take you, but I don't
hmm
really care to visit it and see, you know, the tourist traps and all that nonsense.
There were some like visiting England as like a tourist is really cool.
Mm.
There's lots of really pretty scenery. There's a ton of like old history to look at and castles and buildings and cool things. Living in England is not super fun
That,
because
yeah.
it's just everything is damp
Yeah.
and dark and depressing.
Well, whenever I would tell um my friend the story, she would just kind of, I swear her eyes would glaze over. And then she'd be like, "But how does he pronounce tomato?" Like it would go back to I don't know what it is. Oh.
Being from England was a huge advantage in high school though.
Oh yeah.
Because I moved to Canada for real when like right before right oh my gosh, this fish, I hate it. Right before grade 9.
Mhm.
Like we moved in I think the spring, and then it was like summer, and then um grade 9. And this is like how terrible England was to live in, okay?
Mm.
We sold our crappy rundown um like 100-year-old. I think it was more than that. I think I think it was built in freaking Victorian times.
Wow.
Um we sold our old crappy house in England. It was small, and the neighborhood was like, it's not like American neighborhoods where it's like every house has like space around it.
Yeah.
It's the whole street is buildings connected to each other
Yeah,
with like a front and a back.
that's a lot.
Um and so there's really not a whole lot. Wow, we made a lot of money.
I caught some ocean fishes.
Wow, I got some fishes too.
Oh.
You should while I go into the mines, you should go buy us more crops. We need to be really hammering the crops. We need melons. You should get us melons. And then oh, it's raining. This is a perfect day to
Yay.
do stuff. We also I think we should have Speed grow. We could use the speed. Yeah, you should use the speed grow. Oh, nice fishes. You have to hoe the soil and then put the speed grow down and then put the uh seeds down.
Hoe the soiled speak. Okay, I can do that. I know
Uh,
how to do that.
Good. I'm gonna go to town.
Okay.
So we sold that house, and like I said, we were barely getting by. My mom, she worked for like 20 years as a ambulance driver, and by the time we left, she was working as like a paramedic, and she didn't make enough money to really like properly like to not do long shifts and night shifts and
Mm.
to to live comfortably. Like we were fine. We weren't like in poverty, but we weren't living comfortably.
Yeah.
Open from 9 a.m. Okay. Ooh, I wonder if I can find any wormies. So we sold that piece of crap house. And we moved to Canada and we bought an acre of land with a huge house on it. But we bought a bed and breakfast. And so like just between like the absurd property prices and the exchange rate at the time was really, really good. My mom bought a bed and breakfast, and because the only way we were able to go to Canada was to ooh, start a business that would or start or buy a business that would employ a Canadian.
Mm.
Um, and so we bought this bed and breakfast. It was like a 5 or 6 bedroom and at least like a 4 bathroom house with the money from selling our piece of crap in England. It was just absurd.
Yeah.
And so our quality of life just shot through the roof. Suddenly we were full on middle class. Like
fancy.
And yeah, I'm going to donate to the museum. Let's see. We and so when I went to high school, there was just this like weird buzz surrounding me. I'm going to go inside. I just wanted a quiet moment. I feel that so much, Penny.
Yeah.
Just standing in the rain and staring for a quiet moment.
Your mouth open, pointed to the sky.
What?
I don't know.
I just feel this really like, oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's nice. That's nice.
Because I still had the accent. You'll notice I don't have it now. It's because I moved to England. I moved to Canada in the middle of puberty, and by the time in the 4 years that it took me to go through high school, I'd completely lost my accent.
Right.
Because my voice was still changing and developing, and it changed and developed to sound like the people around me.
Right.
Ooh. But I had this weird, super weird, like oddly good time in high school. Ah, shoot, no room in my inventory. Okay, well, I'll go give these to Gunter. Sorry, to Gunter. Because I had the accent. I looked a lot like Harry Potter back then. I had like short dark hair, glasses. I don't anymore, but I think when did the first movie release?
Oof. Gosh, I don't even remember, to be honest.
I think it was around the time of the movies, and so I didn't look like Daniel Radcliffe, but it was like close enough. I had an accent and I had glasses, and people were like, "It's Harry Potter!"
Oh no!
And well, we got some coal, and it was this weird because I had kind of a hard time making friends, because it was kind of like everyone wanted me to swear for them, but no one was actually interested in hanging out with me.
Know you.
Yeah, everyone was, and so it took me a long time, and it was because I had trouble. There were so many people who were like treating me as a novelty.
Oh.
That it took me a while to find people who are actually interested in me for who I was.
Oh my gosh, this is getting really sad.
On the other hand, I was bully proof.
Yeah, I
It was
mean.
super because everybody knew don't fuck with the English kid because everyone likes him. Even, the kinds of people who will beat you up also like the English kid. But I never, not once in high school was I bullied. It didn't take me that long to find my stride, but like, I want to give you a sense of how bully proof I was. I sat I think it was like in grade 9 or 10, I sat in the lunchroom during lunchtime with all the kids who played Magic the Gathering at the lunch table and did not get bullied for it.
Right.
Like, it was kind of wild. Um, here we go. But yeah, I had this weird situation where I kind of bounced around from group to group. I hung out with like I said, the Magic the Gathering kids for a little while because I always loved Magic the Gathering. I was always a freaking nerd. And I hung out with like the anime kids for a while. I never really hung out with the goth kids. There was
No.
two at my school. It wasn't the fact that they were goth kids. It was the fact that they were cringy as fuck and also goth kids. Like,
Oh,
does that make
okay.
sense? I don't want to take, I don't want to talk bad about goth kids because I just don't. But these particular goth kids, there were two of them at the school and they were both dicks. So,
Oh.
um, so I never really hung out with those. But yeah, I bounced around from group to group and never really found my friend stride until like grade 10 or 11. Because grade 11 is when my best friend arrived at my school.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I love that.
I've just been rambling about my high school days for a while now.
I like it. It's really nice. It's really nice to.
Okay.
I mean, I love these stories. I can listen to these stories forever.
I feel the same way about your stories.
Oh.
Yeah, I miss my accent sometimes. Now I'm just a
I wish you had
weird
an accent.
amalgamation.
Yeah, but it would be really cute.
Did you end up buying any crops?
I bought the melons.
Oh, nice.
The melons are planted.
Thank you.
Dang it, I went and saved and caught all these fish. I go and check the town hall thing, and I'm like, what can I put in here? None of them count.
Oh, no.
I know. But on the plus side,
you can sell them.
Yeah, I'm going to sell a bunch of fish.
Nice.
So, ocean fish.
Ocean fish. Ooh, are these ready? Oh, heck yeah. The wheat is ready. So we're going to have a big money day.
Good. Good.
Big money day.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and we got some hay from it.
Nice. We need hay. We need hay for the chickens.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to need hay tomorrow, I think.
I want to get more of those vines. Okay, that's a decent amount of melons. Thank you.
Vine.
Dang. Do we need wheat? Or maybe the summer crops bundle?
Yeah, one of the bundles does need wheat.
So yeah, that was all about Maple's childhood.
Aw. So interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also really was not bullied in school. The only person who really bullied me was when my brother was also in the same school, but he was a senior when I was a freshman. So we had like 1 year together. In high school, but
gotcha.
Yeah, that was about it. I was a band kid too. But like surprisingly, like band was actually a really good way to build like friendships and communities and stuff. The band I was in, it was like it was marching band. And I also did, jazz band and things like that, but the big one I was in was marching band, and it was I think our band was somewhere around 150 to 200 members.
Wow.
Because it was grades.
That's huge.
It was 4 grades,
Mm-hmm.
so we had all kids from all grades.
Wow.
And so I always had people, like large amounts of people that I knew, and so yeah. And yeah, bullying, I feel like my school was also really kind of good for that. I don't feel like there were like the kids who were quote unquote quote bullies were very few and far between. And
That makes sense.
I think that like when bullying did happen, for the most part, I felt like it was everyone else would kind of be like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" You know what I mean? To be the bully was the weird
Mm,
thing. To be the one picked on
that's really
was
cool to be in that kind of culture.
yeah. Yeah, it was okay that way.
Yeah. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed us, please leave us a like on the video. That helps us a huge amount. You can send us an email too if you'd like. All that stuff is in the description. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you have any questions, let us know what you want us to do in the game, or,
Yeah.
anything. You want relationship advice? Go ahead, send
Dude,
us an
I have
email.
so much. Someone please ask me for advice.
And subscribe and ring the bell and hit OK, potato. Hit OK. It's a
Oh,
black screen. Come on.
no, there you go.
Oh
Okay.
my
Thanks
gosh.
everybody.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.